Hey, good morning or good day. Okay, I'm running an experiment today. I'm going to see if I can do this and Instagram at the same time. So, welcome to everyone who's joining. I'm going to press live here too. Will it work? Who knows? Always fun to try new things. Yay! I think it's working. All right. So welcome everyone, day 3 of our anti-resolution challenge. If you're not part of the challenge, no worries, you're here. Broadcasting across many different platforms, including Instagram. I just set up my phone and stuck it on Instagram as well. So 2 things happening simultaneously, actually many things happening simultaneously. So whether you are watching the live or the broadcast later. Hey, Noelle. We are broadcasting on my personal Facebook page, my author Facebook page, the Warrior Goddess Inspiration page, the Warrior Goddess Women Facebook group, which is really where this challenge is happening, as well as the Warrior Goddess Women's Circle, which is our private membership circle. So, hey everyone, blessed day. Go ahead and take a moment and share where you're tuning in from, wherever that might be, whether you're on Instagram or one of the Facebook or YouTube, also broadcasting live on YouTube. So, hey, Julie. Hey, Elizabeth. Good morning. Hey, Coy. Hey, Doreen. Welcome. And hello, Instagram peeps. I love that. So, this is so fun. Can we do this? Look, this is what I'm doing on my phone. Oh, good. Yes, so the anti-resolution challenge, if you haven't joined, you still can, www.antiresolutionchallenge.com. Super easy to join. Just go stick your email in and click yes, basically, and boom, you're in. Hey, Nikki. Hello. Hey, Alicia. Hey, Valerie. And Lindy's here on Instagram and Stay Launched. Hello. So good morning, Michelle. Yeah, cold. I know. It's not snowing here yet, but I know it's coming on Monday. So, yay. Today, our focus is on the blessings and the lighter side of our strategies. So as part of the anti-resolution challenge, day 1 was an introduction and an exploration of how are the ways that we've been navigating the pandemic and our lives, looking at these 4 different survival strategies: flee, fight, fawn, or freeze, and linking those to the 4 strategies that I've written about in Warrior Goddess Training, which are controller, isolator, distractor, and pleaser, and how there's a lot of similarities. And so as we explore the strategies, day 1 was what's the main strategy that you've been using? How have you been surviving? And day 2 is around having compassion. And I just want to say how beautiful it's been to see the posts happening in the Warrior Goddess Women Facebook group. So if you haven't joined that yet and you want to be part of the conversation around this, just the shares have been so powerful and so vulnerable. And several people saying how it changed their relationship with self, really learning how to come back into compassion with their self, and also started shifting their relationship with their partner or their husband or their wife or their beloved, that they realized they needed to bring in more compassion to their relationships and to understanding when somebody's in controlling or in isolating or in pleasing or in distracting, they're trying to give themselves a sense of safety. They're trying to get grounded. They're trying to manage their world. Good morning, Misty and Danielle. Hey, Jesper. Yay. So yesterday was bringing in compassion for ourselves and for others, and really starting to get in our beings, in our bones, in our marrow, that people don't act out. We don't act out or go into reaction just randomly. Like, we've got trauma, we have history, we have experiences, we have agreements and beliefs, we have modeling, and that what we're navigating is ways to keep ourselves safe or give us a sense, the illusion of safety. And that when we start to step back and have compassion for ourselves and others, then we can start looking at what are the actual blessings of these strategies? How do they actually help us? How do they support us? And what are the gifts beneath them? So we'll be talking more about that. But there's a power in the two dichotomies that we're going to play with today and tomorrow. And you need compassion. So that's why we started with compassion, to bring compassion into looking at what the blessing is. And tomorrow we're going to look at what the shadow is, what the darker side is, or what the suffering is. Okay, so today the lighter side. And the lighter side is realizing that you are genius, you're brilliant, your being is so wise to protect you in the ways that it does. Okay, so instead of judging ourselves for our strategy, like how dare, how awful that I'm pleasing again, if we can be like, yep, I'm pleasing, and what is the benefit? What do I get from pleasing? What do I get from isolating? What do I get from distracting? What do I get from controlling? Because there is something that we're receiving, even if it's hurting, there's also a benefit for it. There's a game that we play in our community, in the Warrior Goddess community during the workshops. Oh, and I want to share about the workshop that's coming up. So exciting. But one of the things that we do is we break people into their strategies, so that everybody has a group. When we do this live, everybody breaks out into a group, and all the pleasers are together, all the people that are working with their strategy of pleasing, all the isolators, controllers, and distractors. Before I go any further on that story, we're not using these labels, these strategies of pleaser, isolator, distractor, controller, to put ourselves in pigeonholes, to say this, you're always a pleaser, you're always a controller, or there's no other way you can be. This is where the compassion comes in, is that from a compassionate witness place, we're learning to step back and look at our actions and our reactions and our responses to the world, and be curious about where is their strategy here. You are not your strategy. Okay, so I'm not doing this to keep you in a box at all. I want you to get out of the box. But in order to get out of the box, we have to start looking at and being honest with ourselves of how we're in relationship to ourselves and the world. And these strategies are a great model to help us do that. Okay, so back to the live events that we do when we break everyone into their strategies. The first question I ask the groups is, why is your strategy the best? Why do you love your strategy? What's the gift of your strategy? What's the blessing of your strategy? And everyone then brainstorms to explore what's the gift of their strategy? What's the blessing? How has it actually helped? How has it actually served us? So, and that place of, again, compassion and curiosity. We're not trying to fix ourselves and say, you're always a controller, you're always a pleaser. And you're going to find that there's certain places where you have patterns. Okay. So the lighter side is, how have they served you? So that's our question and our exploration today. How have those patterns served you in your life? Later on in the Anti-Resolution Challenge, we're going to be looking at what's the actual foundation of the power when we're not in strategy, but we're in our power. Each of these strategies also has a power that underlies it. So we'll be exploring that later. But today, the exploration is this question: how have the strategies served us? So that we're not going into looking at the places that there's huge cost for the strategy, because all the strategies have huge costs as well. That we're not going in punishing ourselves or feeling like, I just have to get rid of this. I can't believe I'm doing this. It's not, if I was aware, awake, alive, whatever, that I wouldn't be doing this strategy, but that we have a larger context. There's a reason that we go into strategy. Okay. So why do we do our strategies? Why do we feel a need to keep ourselves safe, to defend ourselves, to placate others, to think that we know exactly what's happening and that we can somehow control life. Yeah. Or that there's a way to avoid pain or struggle. Yeah. So Nikki writes, as a distractor, I get so much done that gives me fuel to rationalize how worthy my frenetic pace is. Yeah, exactly. And that's true for those of us that are distractors, where we're bouncing from thing to thing to thing. There's this feeling sense of, I'm getting a lot of things done because look at all these different things that I'm doing. And it's a way to rationalize the frenetic pace. Thanks, Nikki. It's great. Yeah. I know for me, in the past, I was a pleaser. I'm more of a controller now. But in my journey as a pleaser, the illusion was, like, the benefit was people like me. Like, I'm nice and people like me. Okay. That's a benefit. I feel like a good person because I'm taking care of everyone else. Tomorrow we'll talk about the not so good parts. Okay. But today, how do these strategies serve? So Doreen, what strategy do you feel like you're most connected to right now, or that you're wanting to work with? We can explore. And loves, these broadcasts, these Facebook Lives and Instagram Live, which I'm doing on my phone, are just ways for us to interact, to share. You don't have to be part of the Anti-Resolution Challenge. You can kind of hang out. If you want to join, you're welcome to join anytime. It runs from January 12th to January 18th. Little videos, little worksheets. Today, our focus is on the blessings of our strategies. And I love that some of the folks on Instagram are talking about having purchased the audiobook for Warrior Goddess Training. Enjoy. I love that. Nikki writes, pleasing is my secondary strategy. I use pleasing activities to distract away from the core fears and traumas. Yeah. And that's what we're doing with our strategy, is we are managing our fear. We're managing our trauma. We're managing our emotions. And because it's a management and not a clearing, we're constantly running away. Okay. So that's the benefit, is it gives us the illusion of safety. Okay. Yeah. Sakina, I haven't seen your questions until right now. So I'm not being rude. You're making an assumption, love. I didn't see your questions. So you are acting as if I'm completely ignoring you, which I've not seen any of your questions today until just now. So please, love, don't make assumptions about what I'm doing. Take a step back and get curious about why you just reacted the way you did. That would be my invitation. You are making an assumption. You made an assumption that I'm ignoring you when I haven't seen your question today at all. There's been no questions from you in my feed. I'm not saying you didn't ask the questions. I'm just saying in my feed, the questions haven't been here. Yeah, exactly. So Amanda, happy birthday. Happy birthday. And I only have control of managing myself. Yeah, it's true. It's true. But we often go into trying to manage everyone else, right? And trying to control everyone else, or taking things personally. And that's what the strategies do, is they cause us to react to things rather than really stopping and opening our heart and listening and our compassion and being present with what are all the factors here inside of myself and also outside. Just going to go back here. The Facebook group. So I mentioned that we're doing this challenge on a Facebook group. So that Facebook group is Warrior Goddess Women. And it is a closed Facebook group. So if you're not part of it, feel free to join. You're welcome to join. It'll take us a little bit just to pull you in. But Warrior Goddess Women, if you just go in and join there, we will pull you in. And every day on the Warrior Goddess Women group, Sakina, I don't have a problem with you, sweetheart. I'm just noticing that you're making assumptions by saying I'm being rude to you when your questions aren't coming in. So, and my intent is absolutely not to put you down. All right. So, and it's awkward. This is a Facebook Live. There are hundreds of people on this, so it's awkward to be trying to navigate. I'm just going to be super honest with everybody. I'm trying to navigate two things in terms of Instagram and Facebook. So please know I'm not ignoring anybody. Sometimes your comments or questions don't come through, and it's challenging sometimes to keep up with everything. So, okay. Yeah, beautiful. The triggers have made me aware of where I have something to work on. A beautiful invitation. Yeah, and I realized I just got a little triggered because I'm feeling like, I'm not trying to ignore anyone. So, and it's, my pleaser is like, I want everyone to feel seen and loved and that I'm being kind. So that's what happens, is that we go into defense. I'm talking about myself now. We go into defense rather than just, I'm doing my best. I'm showing up to the best of my capacity. And being compassionate with self. Life is complicated, sweeties, isn't it? It's hard. And so to have that compassion for ourselves and to understand that we're all struggling right now. We're all struggling. We're all navigating a lot. Okay. And Doreen, pleaser isolator. Okay. So I'm going to go back to Doreen's question earlier. And Doreen's question was, thanks, love. Doreen's question earlier was feelings like she had a blank with what the benefits of pleasing or isolating is, or where are the places that it's serving. So let's just take pleaser, because there's been a couple people that have shared pleaser. The pleaser energy is constantly, I want everyone else to feel okay, I want to make sure everybody's happy, and all of our energy goes out here. What's the benefit of being a pleaser? You have the illusion that you're a nice, kind person, that people like you. And I say illusion because not everyone's ever going to like us. Like if you're actually living your life, there's going to be people that don't like you. There's going to be people that are upset with you. There's going to be people that are angry with you. There's going to be people that are disappointed with you. That's just how it goes. We can't please everyone. Okay. But from a pleaser strategy, the illusion is I can please everyone. And that gives us a sense of power. The underneath is like, if I just do it right, and how do I know if I'm doing it right? Everybody's happy with me. Okay. So does that help, Doreen? Feel into that. Anybody else that's a pleaser? Good. I'm so glad you got the book yesterday and started to read it. Yay. So somebody had asked the questions of what the book is Warrior Goddess Training. There's a bunch of books that I've written, but that's one that the strategies are in. So you can go check that one out. Koi, I have all showing up. It's my distraction that I'm trying to rein back into balance. Yeah. Yeah. So that place of, we live in a really distractor society. So what's the gift of distraction is it feels fun, and we can avoid conflict. We can avoid difficult situations, because anytime a conflict arises or a difficult situation arises or we're uncomfortable, we shift our attention. And we live in a time where we're very distracted. So you may have distractor as a strategy, and that's really being fed in our culture right now, in our times, is you can make it go away. Take a pill, shift your attention. You don't have to look. Where we grow is when we're able to face conflict and challenges and discomfort. Okay. But the gift of a distractor, we could say, or the benefit of distracting, is you always feel okay about yourself, because if something makes you not feel okay, you shift your attention immediately. You don't have to then deal with conflict or upset because you're not paying attention to it. You're elsewhere. Okay. Similar with the isolator. Like the isolators, whenever there's a conflict, somebody who has isolating as a strategy, when that arises, they're immediately going to pull back and disappear. What's the benefit? You don't have to deal with conflict. Okay. We have to be honest about what the benefit we're getting is. This is something that I've seen in my teaching and in my relationship with self and in engaging with students is that, and with the community, is that if we don't name what the benefit is, it's very hard to change the pattern. So when we slow down and go, okay, what am I getting from this? Even though it's challenging, when we also look at what am I getting from this, that gives us much more capacity to then go, here's the benefit, here's the cost, how to shift it. Mm-hmm. Good. Thanks, Nikki. Glad. Renee, I've had great intuition now that I'm back to being an isolator. In my tech career for 22 years, I was a controller and missed the isolation. I think enjoyed network because I could isolate. Desktop support made me uncomfortable because more being a pleaser. Yeah, but it helped me understand my mom, who's a caregiver. Yeah, and this place of where our strategies shift based on what's happening in our life, based in our job, based in our relationships, that there's a way that there's strategies that we take on to cope with different areas. And there's also what I think of as our primary strategy is when we're at home by ourselves, what's the strategy that is the most familiar to us? And the truth about isolator, which Renee shared, is that isolators do have a deep connection usually to their intuition, a deep sense of self, because they spend a lot of time alone. So that's a benefit. Okay. And the truth about isolators, and I've been sharing this in the Warrior Goddess Women group, is that isolators need a lot of time alone. Okay. Anybody who's an isolator, hi isolators, I love you out there. If you're an isolator, you need a lot of time alone. It's not, the remedy is not to never be alone. You need time alone. And the gift of isolators is that there's this focus on relationship with self often. Okay. The shadow, we'll talk about later, the hard part of an isolator is there's often this deep yearning for connection, for deep conversations, for relationship that doesn't happen. Okay, because there's that fear. Okay. Yeah. Aw, thanks, Nikki. Nikki writes, I feel seen and loved, and you are doing a beautiful job managing a lot of hard things while simultaneously sharing incredible wisdom. Thank you. Yeah, I'm a little wobbly today. I started working, got some tears. I started working on a book my next book. And I started it 3 days ago. And the interesting thing about working on a book for me is that I start off really strong and excited, which first day I was like, yay, this is so fun. And then the second day, yesterday, I tanked. I started comparing myself. I started making myself wrong. I started thinking this is a dumb book. Nobody's going to read it. Nobody's going to take me seriously if I write this book. I had a lot of noise going on in my head. And it was my controller / pleaser. But the controller was like, I have to do this perfectly. And I have to fulfill everybody's thoughts of who I should be in the world. It was exhausting. And I went for a walk with my dear friend Perdita and shared with her that I was comparing myself and that I was feeling wobbly. And it was really good to just talk about it and to realize, as I talked to her, I realized, oh, right, I feel vulnerable. Whenever you put yourself out in the world, and I know for me, when I put myself out in the world, when I start a new book, I start feeling really vulnerable and looking at all the things that could be wrong and all the people that will judge me. And just naming that. And what's the benefit of that? The benefit is I don't have to put myself out in the world. If I stay in that place of I can control everything and make everybody happy, what happens is I don't write because it's impossible. And then I stay safe. Okay. today and last night, I did a bunch of, I cleared a bunch of stuff out. I did ritual. I had a dance party with myself. I meditated. I cleared my desk. And I was like, all right, baby, you're going in tomorrow. And this morning I woke up and I had a total breakthrough, and the writing is coming and it's so beautiful. And I'm so excited about it. And I feel really tender, which is good. That makes for good writing. So I'm sharing this with you because I love that. Because I want you to, I'm always working and opening to being honest whenever I do these type of broadcasts, that I don't have it all together. I don't know. I get confused. I go into strategy, and there's reasons that we do it. Like yesterday, I was trying to control my world so that I stayed safe. Period. Because now I saw that, I was able to shift it because I saw what the result was going to be. Trying to write a book when you're busy judging yourself against everyone else, super not fun, right? Yeah. Doreen, see, there's my pleaser coming out. Doreen writes, you're navigating with so much grace. Thank you, sweetheart. Yeah. Yeah, it's so true. All right. Yeah. Coy, I love that. I feel useful when pleasing. There's a benefit, right? You feel useful. You feel like you have purpose. And this is something that the strategies give us, is a sense of purpose, a sense of knowing what to do next, a sense of familiar. Okay. And the familiar doesn't mean safe. It gives us the illusion of safety. And just that reminder that, even if you could please everybody, it's still not going to have the result you want. Because if you are pleasing everybody, something's wrong. You're not living your life, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, Janice, controllers trigger me so much. I think as it stirs the controller I have grown since a child. She is fierce. Yeah. And it's interesting, if we go back to the lesson yesterday around compassion, that we start having compassion for the places that were triggered by the strategies that other people have. So some of us might be really triggered by isolators because of our history of being abandoned. So when someone starts isolating, we immediately get triggered and are trying to grab at them or make it different. Or we might get triggered by controllers and feel really distrustful and distasteful when we're around a controller. And to get compassionate and understand everyone's doing their strategy for a reason. And can we have compassion for why we're being triggered by controllers, why we're being triggered by isolators? It's amazing what then starts to unwind inside of us, because there's all these old patterns that then get brought up into the surface that we can unwind. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And then we can own that own part of ourselves. I love that Janice. Yeah. Sir is a control I've grown since a child. And I noticed for myself, when I run into other really fierce controllers, sometimes there's this really battle that almost starts to happen. It doesn't happen often. It's happened maybe for me three times in the last couple of years. But now I just witness, I'm like, oh, my controller's I must fight this person because they're controlling and I'm controlling. And now I think it's so funny because I know I have this tenderness. I'm we're both trying to manage. Okay. So I still have the reaction of wanting to battle, but now I'm there's that reaction in my controller. Can I create space around that and listen to what's actually needed here? Yeah. Sarah, ooh, I am so good at creative avoidance. Yay. Ultimately, it does not feel good as it shows up in my cluttered surroundings and incomplete goals. Yeah. And for today, we're exploring, I love it, creative avoidance and how fun that is. And then tomorrow we'll go deeper into, and there's a cost. Yeah. Good. And many of us have difficulty with conflict, right? So a lot of where the strategy comes out is to try and avoid conflict, because what the strategies are, again, reminder, is the strategy is our way of managing our emotions a lot of times, or giving ourselves a feeling sense of safety. So I want to pause for a second, and I'll go back into the comments, but just to welcome anyone who's joining kind of in the middle of either the Instagram stream, hi, or the YouTube/Facebook live stream. And we are exploring the anti-resolution challenge. We're in day 3 of the challenge today. If you haven't joined and you want to join, as of this morning, there were 4,981 people signed up. So we're probably going to hit 5,000 people today, which is just fun. I love that there's so many people that are willing to and dedicated to untangling so that we can create more nourished, grounded soil of our being, that we can nourish ourselves in a new way as we go into 2022. And my intent with this challenge is to help us be more resourced, more resilient, more creative, more compassionate, so that we can be centered in our relationship to what's happening in the world, so that we're not avoiding, that we're facing the challenges that we're here to face, and that we can learn how to be sustainable in our relationship with life. So that's my intent for the challenge. You're all welcome to join. I know a lot of you that are here are part of the challenge. We're in day 3. If you haven't joined the challenge, you can join anytime. www.antiresolutionchallenge.com. Yay! And that we're also sharing in the Warrior Goddess Women Facebook group. It's a closed Facebook group, so feel free to go over there and join. If you're a woman or woman identified, head on over to Warrior Goddess Women on Facebook. Closed group will bring you in, and that's where you can share, and we're interacting there more about the challenge. If you are male or male identified, you can ask questions here. Yay! Alicia, is it possibly most or all? Yes, of the strategy. So of those 4 strategies, isolator, pleaser, controller, distractor, it is absolutely possible to have more than one. You know, a lot of people have 2 strategies. Some people really recognize all 4. And we tend to have one that is our safest place, our go-to strategy. If you're not sure which strategy you are, you can go to day 1. There's a worksheet with the day 1 lesson, and that helps to kind of unpack which strategy you are. Or I always say, or ask your closest friends, because your closest friends usually know what strategy you are. They'll have a sense of it. So this is a great one to ask people that love you. And if you feel like I'm all 4 of them, for this challenge, just pick one to unravel. Okay, to stay focused on for this time. And if you're not sure which one, pick the distractor. Oh, you're welcome, Janice. Thank you. Yeah. Sarah, oh, hello, ego trying to keep you safe. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, Doreen, you know, a lot of us since the pandemic are isolating a bit too much, probably. It's hard, you know, for those people that were already isolators. The pandemic's just added an extra layer, and really for all of us. All right, there's a Facebook user, and I'm going to take a couple more minutes. So if you have any questions, feel free to share in the chat. I'm going through the chat, and then we're going to close in just a minute. And I'll be heading over to the Warrior Goddess Women page to answer any questions over there for the day. Usually tonight I'll go in and answer questions and check in with all of you. So distractor, creator, and isolator to visionary makes total sense to me. In distractor, the word adventure has deep meaning for me. Though I'm focused on the distractor for the challenge, I'm still not sure if this is primary. The spiritual side of isolator is strong for me, as is intuition. Beautiful. Yes, I do yearn for connection. I used to be much more extroverted. Thanks, sweetheart. It's a great share. Yeah, I love this challenge so much. It was such a joy to put it together. I did all the videos in a row so I could weave them together. And yeah, it's such a joy. So thanks, loves. Thank you. Katie, once I retired, I released a lot of the controller, I just now realized. Also, I'm both someone who needs lots of private time and dabble creativity. I'm focusing on deepening spiritually and creatively now. My distraction right now are more my deep worries about what's happening outside me, way outside me. That's all I can say here. Thanks for sharing, sweetie. Yeah. Beautiful. All right. Oh, good. Today's activity was so helpful with viewing the strategies as gifts. It's a shift from judgment to compassion. Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, Catherine. And hopefully learn ways. Wait, let me go up above. Learn ways to stop protecting ourselves in unhealthy ways. Exactly. Yeah. Like creating walls and armor. That's exactly what we're exploring with the strategies, is how do we learn to hold. I think of this as holding a container, the container of our relationship to ourselves that's based in compassion and support and presence, versus the armoring and the protection that is based out of unhealthy ways. We're learning a new way. So the website, hey, Instagram peeps. So the website to sign up for the challenge, www.antiresolutionchallenge.com. So that's where to sign up. And once you sign up, it'll give you the link to the Facebook group as well, so that you can go explore there. Hey, Instagram people. All right. I'm glad. I love the worksheet. It was really fun creating the worksheets as well. Yeah. Oh, and a great question. So, Doreen, I'm just wondering, why does it feel so much easier for me to have compassion for other people but myself? It's something we learn. Like, so many people have this lack of self-love. We are in relationship with ourselves in a very conditional way. I'll love you if. And we learn that. Where do we learn that? We learn it from our parents. We learn it from our peers. It gets passed down. As women, we often have domestication around not being selfish. We have to put ourselves last. So there's a lot of different ways that we learn to abandon ourselves. And that's what I see. Places where we have compassion for others, but we have no compassion for ourselves. Places where we're incredibly judgmental or mean to ourselves. We have that mean girl voice. We've learned to be that way. You're not born that way. So I'd say the question is, how do I develop the skill set of compassion and unconditional love for myself? And how do I do that step by step? It's a journey. It's a journey. So more tools coming tomorrow in the Anti-Resolution Challenge. And, I wanted to share about the workshop that's coming up too. Yeah. Will these lives be replayed? Catherine, the cool thing about the lives is you can go back. All of them are on in the group, in the Warrior Goddess Women group, and also on my author page and also on YouTube. So you can go anywhere. And the trick with Facebook, I've learned, yay, is that if you go to, like, let's say you go to my author page, and I'll just post it back here, which is facebook.com/otherhash.amara. If you then go /live, that'll pull up all the recordings. Oh, and if you go to YouTube, it'll pull up the recordings. Oh, you're welcome, Doreen. So you can definitely watch this video and the videos later. So those of you that are just joining now, go back and watch the recording. Sonia, I just signed up. Will I get the past 2 days emailed? Yes, they're in a row. My understanding is that you go to the webpage and you'll get all the videos. So, yeah. Oh, haha. We learn how to abandon ourselves. That's just opened my eyes. Yeah, we do. We definitely learn how to abandon ourselves. Okay, last question. Oh, love you, Afuk. Hi, love. I'm so grateful for you. And I will do live casts tomorrow and Sunday. I'll probably do shorter ones. And maybe not. They go as long as they go, actually. So those of you that are just joining, please feel free to join the Anti-Resolution Challenge, www.antiresolutionchallenge.com. I'm doing lives at 9 a.m. Los Angeles, noon New York, 5 p.m. London. That's the time zone, every day through the 18th. And if you sign up for the challenge at antiresolutionchallenge.com, you'll get a 10-minute video, about a 10-minute video, and some worksheets through each of the days. And I am doing the lives to answer questions. I'm also going onto the Warrior Goddess Women Facebook group to answer questions there and just cheerlead and love on all of you. So here's the last question for today, and I hope to see you again tomorrow. Thanks everyone for your presence and your love. How can, and again, I'll just repeat, I'm broadcasting from StreamYard onto many different platforms simultaneously. So if I'm not saying your name or I'm not answering your question, it's not because I'm ignoring you, because I'm not seeing it. Okay. So sometimes it's mysterious. Sometimes it doesn't show your questions. So any of you out there that are feeling like I'm not seeing you, it's probably because I am not seeing you literally. I don't see your questions. So, and some of you also, if I'm not saying your name when I read your question, it's because what's coming through says Facebook user, okay? Or it's your Instagram and it's hard for me to read because it's like this big. All right, so this is Facebook user, 12:39 p.m. How can one have compassion for others if you don't have compassion for yourself? These people don't make sense. It's not a question, it's a statement. Yes. But here's the truth, love, is that I know a lot of people that have compassion and love for others that don't have it for themselves. And I used to think that same way, like, well, you can't have compassion if you don't have compassion for yourself, or you can't love if you don't have love for yourself. I believe you can't love fully, but I do believe you can love, and that we've actually been trained to have more compassion for others than for ourselves. And it's a wiring, and we're learning how to rewire ourselves to be in relationship with ourselves in a different way. So slow and steady. You're not broken. Anybody out there that's like, I'm broken, you're not broken. We're learning, we're relearning, we're unlearning. That's really the best way to put it. We're unlearning, which is why I love doing this anti-resolution challenge, because it's not about adding something new to your to-do list or fixing yourself. It's about unearthing what's not working with compassion, so that we can become more sustainable, more resilient, more grounded, more present, more loving, more unconditional with ourselves and others, and make better boundaries, be clearer, be more visionary, be more creative, all the things. And it takes time and it takes effort. Okay, it doesn't have to be hard effort. It can be playful, it can be joyful, it can be in community, but it's effort. It's transformation. Yeah. You're so welcome, sweethearts. Thanks for joining me and sharing the name of the group, Warrior Goddess Women. It's a Facebook group, and you can go there to join. Warrior Goddess Women. Again, antiresolutionchallenge.com if you haven't joined. www.antiresolutionchallenge.com. I'll go ahead and share it in the chat right now. And many of you that are joining this live in the middle/end, please know that you can go watch it later. It's recorded. And so you can go wherever you're watching now, you can go in to see where the recording is. All right. I love that the Instagram worked, because I haven't been able to figure out how to do Instagram. I stayed up late last night trying to see if I could get StreamYard to broadcast directly to Instagram, and it didn't work. So Instagram people, say hello to the and Facebook, YouTube people, say hello to the Instagram people. Here they are. Yeah. Okay. All right, babes. Okay, one more question, since I haven't answered one on Instagram, and then I'm going to close for today. Good. Oh my God, you're headed to Instagram? Okay. Santa Fe, I'm sorry, you're headed to Santa Fe. There's so many places to eat. One of my favorite places is Iconic Cafe on Lena Street. It's like the best, wonderful cafe, and they have really good food. All right, so quick question. How do we keep energetic boundaries? Oh my God, that's such a deep question. So I think I'm not even going to attempt to answer that question right now, because we've been on for 45 minutes. You're so welcome, sweethearts. But I will answer it coming up. Okay. How do we keep energetic boundaries? And that's a good lead in. So the anti-resolution challenge is a little taste, is a nugget-sized bites of transformation that is incredibly helpful. And we're going to be doing a deep dive that I want to invite all of you to. So that deep dive is happening next weekend, January 22nd and 23rd. Liz Forrest also says Tia Sophia's in Santa Fe. I love that. The Facebook people are now sharing with the Instagram people. So Tia Sophia's in Santa Fe if you need a place to eat. So Saturday and Sunday, January 22nd and 23rd, I'm doing a workshop that's called Reclaim and Restore. So excited about it. It's one of my favorite workshops. I usually do it live, but we're doing it online. 3 hours on Saturday, 3 hours on Sunday, not this weekend, but the following weekend. And there's a couple of amazing specials packaged into it for the New Year's, from my heart to yours. The workshop is $111, 111, such a good number, for that deep dive. And we'll be exploring both a big picture map of how we got here, so we can look at how do we get out of here, the way that we judge and compare and beat ourselves up and sabotage ourselves. How did we get here? And also the places where we have insights and inspiration and connection. We'll be looking at all of it, all the human experience. And the second day, we'll be going more into strategies and how to hold a container for ourselves and energetic boundaries. So we'll have 6 hours together to go much deeper with each other. And here are the specials. 111, you can bring a friend for free. Yay! So you can invite a friend for free and gift it to them. You could split the cost with your friend. So where do you learn about it? warriorgoddess.com/reclaim is where the workshop is. And for those of you that are part of the challenge, we'll be sharing about it soon. That's where the workshop is. So the specials are: 1, bring a friend for free. 2, you get 2 months free in our Warrior Goddess training circle. So that's the most intimate circle that we have. That is our membership site online. So it's where I interact with people, where there's lots of classes. So anyway, it's brilliant. And you get 2 months for free. So you can check it out and see if it works for you, which includes going in with us to what we call the Journey of the 9 Moons, which is a much deeper dive into the Warrior Goddess teacher training, the Warrior Goddess training, and all the elements and magic of that. So, Michelle, the info is at warriorgoddess.com/reclaim. Okay, so that's for the workshop that's coming up. And keep an look on social media, because we're just now starting to share about it. We wanted to get the challenge underway and see how people were doing, and then invite everyone into that deeper dive that feels called to learn more about this work and these teachings. All right. All my love to you. This was a long one, so thanks for hanging in for those of you that did. For those of you that are just joining, if you want to go back and listen to the live, you can go watch the recording, YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, which is the first time I've done the duo, Instagram and Facebook. So I'm going to have you guys wave to each other one more time. I love it. All right, dears. Thank you. That was good. What a good connection with all of you. Sending you lots and lots of love. Take good care of yourselves. Remember, today, the exploration for the Anti-Resolution Challenge is the lighter side. What are the benefits? What are the gifts? What are you getting? How's the strategy serving you? Okay, so stay there today. Play, explore. Tomorrow, we'll look at what the suffering and the costs are. Today, what's the benefit? Much love. Bye.